So, get this. In the first half of 2025, global hydrogen car sales just crashed. We're talking a staggering 27% drop. Every headline you read is screaming that hydrogen is dead. But if that's really true, why are some of the world's biggest car companies quietly betting billions on it? Something doesn't add up.
I mean, the numbers are just brutal. Sales for the big flagship models, Toyota's Mirai and Hyundai's Nexo, they're in a complete free fall. And in California, the one place that was supposed to be this hydrogen utopia, refueling stations are actually shutting their doors. It's gone so bad that Toyota is now facing a class action lawsuit from owners who literally can't find a place to fuel the cars they were sold. It's a mess.
Okay, so if it's such a disaster, why did BMW just announce they're building a brand new hydrogen car for 2028? Why did Toyota go ahead and launch a new third-generation fuel cell? And why in the world is Hyundai spending $85 billion on hydrogen infrastructure? The answer, it turns out, is buried in a piece of physics that nobody is really explaining properly.
To really get what's going on, we have to understand what a hydrogen car actually is. And listen, it is not what most people think. There's no explosion. There's no combustion engine like in your gas car. It's a fuel cell. And what it does is way more elegant. It's all based on a quiet, clean electrochemical reaction. It's actually a beautifully simple process. You've got hydrogen from the tank entering the fuel cell on one side, then oxygen, which is displaced from the air around us, it enters on the other. They combine, and the only things that come out are electricity to power the car and a little bit of pure water vapor from the tailpipe. That is it.
And this right here shows you why the whole idea was so attractive. You get over 300 miles of range, it refuels in 3 to 5 minutes, just like a gasoline car, and it has zero tailpipe emissions. I mean, on paper, this looks like the perfect technology. So what went so horribly wrong?
Well, this is where we get to the heart of it. The number that explains everything, but that nobody, and I mean nobody, ever puts in their glossy advertisements.
A hydrogen fuel cell car is only 25 to 35% efficient from well to wheel. What that means is, from the moment you generate the electricity to the moment it actually turns the wheels of your car, you are losing almost 3/4 of the energy. The question is, where is it all going?
The first big energy hit comes before the hydrogen even gets to the car. To create pure hydrogen, you usually have to use a ton of electricity to split water. It's a process called electrolysis. And right off the bat, you lose a massive 45% of your initial energy just to create the fuel in the first place.
And then comes the second hit. Once that hydrogen is finally in your car, the fuel cell has to convert it back into electricity. In that process, another 40 to 60% of the energy that's left is lost, mostly as waste heat. It's basically the same fatal flaw that has always plagued the internal combustion engine.
Now, let's compare that to a battery electric vehicle. An EV takes electricity from the grid, stores it directly in a battery, and by the time that energy reaches the wheels, it's still 70 to 90% efficient. The difference is just staggering.
And that brings us to a simple, brutal conclusion. To travel the exact same distance, a hydrogen car needs 2 to 3 times more electricity than a battery EV. From a pure physics standpoint, for a regular passenger car, it's just incredibly wasteful.
Which, of course, brings us right back to our central mystery. If the fundamental physics is this bad, why are giants like BMW, Toyota, and Hyundai still pouring billions of dollars into it? Are they all just missing something obvious?
No, the reason is the car they're building isn't actually meant for your driveway. The entire consumer car market, it turns out that was just a stepping stone.
Their real targets are heavy-duty freight trucks, massive cargo ships, and maybe even commercial aviation someday. All the sectors where batteries have a really, really big problem.
See, for a small car, the weight of a battery pack is okay, it's manageable. But for a 40-ton semi-truck, the battery you'd need would be so heavy it would cripple its ability to carry cargo. And charging it would take days, not hours. This is where hydrogen's weaknesses suddenly become its greatest strengths. Fast refueling and light weight are exactly what heavy industry needs. And we have concrete proof of this strategy. Remember that brand new Gen 3 fuel cell from Toyota? Yeah, it's not primarily for the Mirai car. It's specifically designed for a 600,000-mile service life inside a heavy-duty truck. They're already testing them right now.
But look, the physics wasn't the only thing that killed the hydrogen dream for regular consumers. Because even if the efficiency was perfect, you still slam into the second fatal flaw. You need a place to refuel.
Let's look at the map. Globally, there are now over 3 million public EV charging points.
For hydrogen, there are only about 1,000 stations in the entire world. You just can't build a consumer market on infrastructure that barely exists.
And the consequences for the few people who actually bought a hydrogen car have been painful. In California, stations are closing not just because there's no demand, but because of constant equipment failures. This is what sparked that class action lawsuit we talked about. Owners who literally cannot find a working pump to keep their car on the road.
So here's the bottom line. Hydrogen cars didn't fail because the technology itself was bad. They failed because they were completely outmaneuvered by physics and economics. The physics made them fundamentally inefficient for small vehicles, and the economics, well, batteries just got cheaper and EV infrastructure scaled up way faster.
But here is the final twist in the story. The very same technology that so decisively lost the war for the passenger car is now perfectly positioned to completely transform heavy transport. In fact, even with the total collapse in car sales, analysts are still predicting the overall hydrogen fuel cell vehicle market is going to grow by 20% a year. But that growth isn't coming from cars, it's going to be driven almost entirely by the commercial sector. Trucks, buses, you name it.
So when you see these companies continuing to invest, you can understand that they aren't being stubborn or foolish. They're playing a much longer and much bigger game than most of us realize.
They simply bet on the wrong vehicle, but they might just have the right technology for the future.